Hey guys, welcome back. So today I gotta load up some wood for tomorrow for a delivery. It's just a full cord, so be this toe, this one, and then the one right there. So I topped them off a little bit. I always throw a little bit more in because when it's rounded like so, that gives you a true face cord. I usually, when I make it just to put it in the kiln, I have it to where it's kind of like that, but when you dry it, it shrinks. So I just always top them off. It's usually around 30 more pieces to make a true face cord out of one of these, and that's with, you know, stacking them down the middle like so. So gonna get these 3 loaded quick, and then we'll kind of talk about a little bit the kiln, how it's running, if it's, you know, continue to run like how it should, which it is. So today is almost day 3 exactly, so kind of talk about it quick. But yeah, let's get these 3 loaded. Tractor's in regen, of course. So yeah, so stay tuned. All right, well, that's loaded. Not too bad when you can lift it high enough. So full cord ready to go for tomorrow. And I'm telling you, that's the only way to dump totes right there. Yeah, it may take a little bit when you got to get on and off for the strap, but usually I have somebody else there doing that. But because that way at least you have the tote in control and you can manipulate where you really want the wood, because I can pack that trailer full. So like I was saying before, we're at day 3, temperature's holding just fine. So when I'm doing just to get season wood, I do 135 degrees for 5 days. This batch, this is the one I put in, if you remember, you've been following along. I had snow on it, all that snow, and it was, you know, frozen. Because it got down to like 10, 15 degrees, so it was cold. It probably took, I want to say it was like 14 hours for it to finally hit 135 degrees, but I anticipated that. And when it was there, it was just dumping steam outside, and it still is. It's hard to tell now because it's almost 45, almost 50 degrees. It's supposed to be 50 degrees the next 2-3 days, which is nice. I can get a lot of work done comfortably. So, but I think the way I have this set up, 135 degrees for straight 5 days works. It's ideal. I think I could probably take it out, you know, 4 days, but that extra day gets the core of the wood to wick away another, give or take, 5%. So good solid 5 days. And I think even if I stuck, you know, I've had a lot of people tell me to pack her full, you know, and get as many totes in there as possible, because I know a lot of you guys are anticipating building one yourselves, you know, and this obviously you want to put as much wood as possible in there to maximize the drying time and how much wood you get done. And I understand all that, but at the end of the day, it's all about airflow. If you don't have good airflow, some of the wood's going to dry, sure, but the stuff that's in the middle, if it's not getting that airflow, it's not going to dry. Yes, when it's baking at that temp, it's going to seep away, but if you're not pushing that moist air out of the wood, past the wood, and get it extracted, it's just not going to dry. So, because even the way I currently have it set up, so the wood is obviously in there this way, right? The wood's in there like this, the air flows blowing here, there, and over the top. It's getting pretty good airflow. Now, if I stuck it in sideways like I originally did in my first test months ago, with the same setup, it did dry, but it took way longer. I think it was like 7-8 days, and I still didn't get the best drying inside the wood. So I know a lot of guys, you know, they'll pack their containers both sides, double stack them, and a lot of them don't even have airflow. But anyone who knows drying wood, just like when you dry it outside, if it doesn't have airflow and good sunlight, it's just not going to dry evenly. So even when I do build another kiln, I will double stack them, but it'll be down the middle. I think that's how I'm going to do it, because I should be able to get 20 totes in there versus 5, give or take, depending on how I have it set up. And I think that's just how I'm going to do it from now on. Just like I've been doing it right now, down the middle, and that's it. I think I could get 6 in there if I just put the back 2 sideways so I can just use the tractor. It's just a pain in the ass when I have to use the pallet jack to turn them sideways in there. I just don't want to do that. Now, I know if I get like a reefer container, it's the same width as this, except for, you know, I built it up inside for the insulation and the plywood so I can mount stuff and whatever. I can get them in sideways like this. Obviously, if I had a forklift, I could just drive in, double stack them. But yet again, it's airflow. Where am I going to mount the fans? I don't think it would be ideal. Now, when I do a new one, I mean, I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm probably going to have 2 to 3 times the fans, 2 to 3, if not more, times the heat source in there, to try to keep it at 5, maybe 6 days, 7 days if need be, because that's just a lot more moisture. So, but for what I have, it works. Because you got to think, if every 5 days I'm drying 5 face cords, give or take, times whatever, how many weeks, that's a lot of wood, right? I mean, for the average person, or even your medium-sized firewood producer, that's pretty good. But for my demand and how far behind I am, that's not fast enough for quantity of wood. Now, if I could dry 20 in 7 days, that's kind of going to be, I think, my goal for that. Maybe 5, maybe even shorter, depending on how the kiln reacts when I double the size and quadruple the heat source in it. Maybe I can make it in 5 days, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's all about the quality of wood for me. I want to make sure every single load I pull out of there, I know it's dry. Whether it's in the front, middle, top, back, whatever. To me, that matters, because I keep saying it, but all my new customers, they all say the same thing. They've bought in wood from multiple different firewood producers, and I show up to deliver my wood, and they're like, yep, that's the wood that they said was dry. And they're like, yeah, it'll be dry next season because it's just wet. I mean, I don't know what these other guys are doing. I'm sure they're trying to just mass produce wood and get it out, and it's all about numbers. But if you're not retaining customers, it's just not good. It's just like my tree business. I mean, I can't even tell you. I'd say half my business every year is repeat customers. I'm still gaining, obviously, new, but I keep growing every year. I mean, it's getting insane how much trees that we do, which is great. I just don't know what these companies are doing as far as quality control, as far as wood goes. I know we're just talking about wood and firewood, whatever, you burn it, who cares? But I care. And most of my customers around here, they give a damn. I mean, they're bringing this wood in their house or whatever they're doing with it, and they want to make sure that when it's 0 degrees out, their house is warm and the wood's what they bought. You know, it is what it is, what you say it is. So yeah. But like I said, that's the only reason I'm going to be building it eventually. I mean, when I say that this is probably going to be months down the line. I got a lot of other things I got to do before that to get ready for that. Because when I get the new container or whatever, where I put it, I got to have infrastructure, buildings, plumbing, electrical, all that stuff. So a lot has to happen before that. I mean, we're in the process of hopefully furthering that. So I know a lot of you guys keep telling me to get building on it, you know, so you can see what to do, what not to do. But at the end of the day, you may build the exact same thing, but it's about the heat source, okay? When I say when it gets up to temp, it fluctuates, you know, on and off, it does, right? Because I'm extracting heat and moisture nonstop, so you're taking away that heat. Now, obviously, I'm using my boiler. I have probably one of the biggest gasification boilers on the market that I know of. You are gonna go through a lot of wood, okay? Now, if you're using just a traditional boiler, I don't even know how much wood you're gonna go through, but it's gonna be ridiculous. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are probably like, well, you know, you're just like me, you accumulate all these scraps and offcuts and big knotty pieces. But I'm gonna tell you this, just by me heating this alone, it takes a lot of wood. Now, I'm gonna double that, right, square footage wise, and I'm gonna be putting 4 times the load in there, right? Just because it's twice the size doesn't mean it's twice the load of heat. It's actually 4 times that, if you do the calculation, right? Because not only that, now you're taking more air out of there that you have to reheat, right? So that is all gonna be a learning curve for me when I build a new one, is if this is even gonna, my boiler's even gonna keep up. I think so, because if I do get a reefer container, they're gonna be better insulated, right? But I'm also gonna have bigger extractor fans. I'm gonna have a lot more sucking out, so my parameters are gonna have to change. I'm hoping if I, you know, 4 times the heat load in there, depending on how I do it, that I can get it maybe hotter, right? So the only reason I would make it hotter is for kiln dried wood, right? Because it just takes that much more to get the core of the wood up above 140 and so on. But if I could get it to 135 faster, right? Not just the kiln temp, but the wood temp, you know, that may cut down, say, 6 hours, right? So I don't know. I mean, I could go on for hours talking about what I've learned doing this. And obviously, you know, species of wood comes into play. I have yet, my first load I did dry oak. That was 7 days with just a dehu, and it worked. So obviously we know oak takes seasoning outside almost 2 years, if not 2 years, to dry. But in the kiln, you know, it may take longer than 5. I have yet to put any oak in here since that original test. I mean, I've had ash, elm, locust, hickory, cherry, obviously, no problem. I mean, they're gonna vary with moisture content in the inside, but it's all pretty much the same when it comes out. So they may be a couple degrees more wet versus not, but it's all super dry. I mean, it's ridiculous how dry this stuff gets. I don't know if you could tell on the time lapse, but when I dump that wood, you just see all the dust coming off of it. I mean, it's just stupid dry. So, but yeah, that pretty much wraps this one up. Kiln's running good. And like I said, since I am gonna be building a new one down the road, if somebody wants to purchase this kiln, I will sell it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna take it all apart, pull this guy out of here, use it as storage somewhere, which is fine for me. It'd be nice to have more storage, even though we have a lot here, but we just run out of room. So, you know, my email is in the channel description, so if you wanna contact me, you can always email me or comment and we can kind of figure it out. You could always go back to my previous videos when I talked about what I do this again. I think I talked about breakdown of somewhat of cost on it. So yeah, if you're interested, just let me know. Otherwise, like I said, I'm gonna pull it out of here, take it, disassemble it, take it apart and build a new one. So, which is fine either way, because I'm gonna have to spend more money for different parts and more fans and whatever. So, but yeah, she's running great, 5 days. So now I literally turn it on. I check the app from time to time to make sure it's heating, venting, and so on. So pretty much just kind of forget about it. As long as I'm feeding the boiler, it's not a problem. So, but like if you're gonna use a wood boiler like I am, you are gonna go through a good amount of wood, especially if you plan on keeping this guy going and going and going. Fortunately, I own a tree service. I have a lot of woods. I have a lot of, you know, cutoffs. It just makes sense for me because I'm also heating my house, shops, now this. So it's not like it's a waste of wood. So it's getting put to use, and I'm selling quality wood for my customers. So my original goal was to just use this to make kiln dried wood, you know, above 140 for hours, whatever. But now I'm so far behind because my firewood demand has increased, which is great. I mean, that's great for me, and business is good, so I can't complain. So I guess your business outlook changes as you grow, right? So I'm kind of excited that the firewood's growing as it is in this exponentially rate. So I'm just trying to keep up now. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Maybe you learned a little bit. Let me know what you guys think, and how the kiln's running. And if you are interested, let me know. But as always, keep earning.